When I mention The Legend of Zelda, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? For most fans of the series, the legends of the Hero of Time are first on that list. It's an epic story about an unlikely boy who must grow to become a hero his world desperately needs. It's a story that resonates with fans because it lets us reflect our own emotions upon a hero that lives an adventure, a life that we secretly crave to experience. What has made The Legend of Zelda so popular is how well it continuously manages to reinvent what the player wants out of an adventure. Zelda has put us in the shoes of a boy coming of age, the struggles of a young man defending his uncle, and even the life of a seafaring pirate. Yet it still retains its ever-charming spirit of adventure. And that is why it boggles my mind that so few people have played or even heard of one of the earliest games in the Zelda timeline, the Minish Cap. Aside from being underrated, the Minish Cap boasts expert control, game design, a new and interesting villain, all topped off by outstanding visuals for the Game Boy Advance. Is there some underlying red flag that deters people from checking this game out, or is it just another case of bad marketing on Nintendo's part? To understand that, we're going to need to understand how the Minish Cap came to fruition. Minish Cap was created out of a...
I'm here for the cop! Okay. Alright, I'm here for the KOTOR review.
Actually, I'm not doing KOTOR anymore. I kind of scrapped it. I'm on to Minish Cap now.
What? Oh, come on. I came here for Star Wars, not Pigeon Hat or whatever the hell it is.
Well, I know one guy that would be perfect for this review. He's the Zelda guru of our little crew we have going on. Do you know where JT is?
Oh shit, I forgot the air holes! I'll be back.
Sean, I followed you down here. What are you looking for? Huh, JT, you're finally back from the Minish world.
Minish Cap was created out of a partnership between Nintendo and Capcom that was established in 2000 with the release of Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons, and Oracle of Ages. This partnership initially promised the production of 6 Legend of Zelda titles, including remakes of the original NES Zelda titles, a 3-part Triforce series, and a brand new Zelda game for the upcoming Game Boy Advance.
However, the coordination of these 6 games proved too much to bear, and with the size of the Game Boy Color's screen being too difficult to program for, the development team decided to scrap the NES remakes and the 3-part Triforce series in favor of a 2-part video game release that borrowed concepts from the NES Zelda titles as well as the recently successful Pokemon series that also released in 2 parts. These games came to be known as The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Seasons and Ages, as mentioned before.
The Oracle games did amazingly well amongst the other games in the Game Boy Color's library, selling a whopping 4 million copies and receiving a rating of 10 out of 10 from both IGN and Nintendo Power. Because of the positive feedback, Capcom game director Yoshiki Akamoto approached Shigeru Miyamoto with the pitch to rekindle their idea of producing an all-new Legend of Zelda game. Akamoto's game pitch was accepted by Nintendo in 2004, thus, The Legend of Zelda The Minish Cap was released for the Game Boy Advance. So, with all the thought and time that went into its early development, does Minish Cap hold up against other 2D Zelda games, and was it worth the wait? Well, let's find out.
Before any gameplay begins, we are treated to an opening similar to that of Wind Waker's. Stained glass storyboards tell us that many years ago, Hyrule was threatened by Shadow. But in the land's darkest hour, a tiny race of humanoids known as the Picori descended from the heavens, giving the hero of men a legendary Picori sword and a magical light known as the Light Force.
Together, these 2 artifacts drove out the darkness, and the legendary sword was cherished by the people of Hyrule. After getting our history lesson, the game finally begins.
About damn time.
Nice.
Minish Cap starts with Link awakening from his sleep. Again. Really? Look, I know this game came out earlier than others in the series, but what is it with Link and his sleeping? I always start Zelda games hoping there will be an awe-inspiring opening, but no! You get to watch the main character slowly arise from his bed. And with Breath of the Wild already opening with a different but equally sleepy Link, I don't think this trend is gonna die anytime soon.
Tragic. Anyway, Link is awoken by his grandfather to attend the Picori Festival with Zelda, a celebration that takes place every year to commemorate the day that the Picori descended from the sky to save Hyrule from destruction. But before Link and Zelda leave, Link's grandfather, Smith the Smith, gives Link his recently forged sword to deliver to the officials at the festival. This sword and a privilege to touch the legendary Picori blade would be the prizes given to the winner of the festival's sword fighting tournament.
With the task already at hand, Link and Zelda attend the festival and take part in some minigames. Zelda even wins Link a small shield and laughs at him for how stupid he looks. I'm not even kidding. As Link and Zelda reach the tournament officials, Zelda explains that every 100 years during the annual festival, a door would open between the world of Picori, Pisori, I don't even know how you pronounce this, and humans, and that if you were lucky enough, you may just find one of the small creatures.
Link delivers the sword just as the tournament is ending, and the winner, Vaati, steps forth to receive his prize at the command of the King of Hyrule. Yeah, the actual King of Hyrule is here. We hardly see the guy in other games, and in some he's only mentioned, but this time he is here in the flesh. Anyway, enough rambling, let's get back to the story.
Vaati unfortunately turns out to be an evil wind sorcerer. What a surprise. And instead of claiming his prize, he breaks the Picori blade and unleashes hordes of monsters all over Hyrule. It turns out that Vaati was in search of the light force that we heard about in the opening crawl. Vaati turned Zelda to stone just before leaving in search of the magical artifact that he expected to be sealed within the bound chest.
As Hyrule's monarch is grieving over the princess, he and the minister task you with exploring the Minish Woods in search for a clue for the Picori, fuck it, I'm calling it the plot MacGuffin. Because the plot MacGuffin reveals themselves to children alone, Hyrule's officials decide that a brave child like Link may be the only salvation they have for rescuing the princess and stopping Vaati. Yeah, that's kind of a stretch there, game. You know, you're just sending a small boy out and without any supervision. Probably could have just sent some guy out with him just to keep him safe. Although I guess it's a better reason than saying a tree told him to do it.
During his search, Link comes across a cursed hat named Eslo, who befriends him and gives him the ability to shrink down to the size of a Picori, who Eslo points out are actually known as the Minish.
Eslo also points out to Link that Vaati was once his apprentice, but as evil grew within him, so did his ambitions. Vaati stole Eslo's creation, the Minish Cap, and used its power to turn himself into a sorcerer and turn Eslo, ironically, into a cap. No, Eslo is not the Minish Cap. He is a Minish who just happens to be a cap.
With the newfound power, Link visits the Minish village and consults the Minish Elder on what his next move should be. The Elder determines that the best plan would be to reforge the plot MacGuffin sword and use its power to destroy the Shadow and return Princess Zelda back to normal.
To do this, Link must travel to the four corners of Hyrule and retrieve the world's elemental crystals that aid in the reforging of the legendary blade. These include the Wind Elemental, Fire Elemental, Water Elemental, Earth Elemental, and this is already sounding like a Final Fantasy game, so let's move on.
After getting all four elementals, the Picori blade is transformed into the Force Sword that allows Link to split into 4 identical copies to dish out 4 times the damage. But just as they prepared to face Vaati, he learns that the light force that he has been searching for all this time was actually stored in the blood of the royal family's princess, aka Zelda.
With this info, Vaati attempts to slow Link down with some goons as he extracts Zelda's life force. Ow? I don't know. But thankfully it's not as bad as that.
Of course, this is a video game, so using the Force Sword, Link defeats Vaati and frees Zelda of his curse. The only problem is, Hyrule has been completely destroyed. To fix this simple problem, Zelda wishes it away using the power of the Light Force and Minish Cap combined.
With all well, Eslo is returned to his normal state, says his goodbyes, leaves through the Minish portal that only opens every 100 years, and with that, the game is finished. Now, why they didn't just wish everything back with the Minish Cap in the first place is beyond me, but the inclusion of the Minish Cap in the story is one of the greatest things the developers of Zelda have done in a long time.
In fact, everything about this game storytelling-wise is pretty much perfect. First and foremost, the villain, simply because Vaani is unique. Zelda games that tend to stray away from the traditional Ganon storyline are always usually the best ones to play through. It's kind of a weird trend you have going on there, guys, but whatever, at least it's fun. This game also does away with the Triforce and Master Sword and instead introduces the Light Force and the Force Sword as MacGuffins of choice. Not the Picori MacGuffins or whatever the fuck that thing's called, I mean like actual MacGuffins.
This game includes areas never before seen in other Zelda games, like Mount Crenel, the Minish Woods, and the Cloud Tops, all with their own races and societies. This game goes a long way for a small project produced by Keiji Inafune. It's a mighty good time.
How could this happen to me? I made my mistake.
Of course, it's not just the changes to Minish Cap that we liked. Another huge and interesting aspect of Minish Cap is the little nods to other games in the series like Wind Waker, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask. For one thing, the cartoon art style from the Wind Waker is brought on the scene once again, and my god is it gorgeous. In fact, Minish Cap is probably one of the nicest looking GBA games I've ever played. The pixel art is detailed, and nothing in the world looks out of place. This is exactly what I would want a 2D representation of Wind Waker to look like. And if you've played Wind Waker, you know you're in for a beautiful screen to look at. Beyond image quality, you've got Big Goron, Malin, Talon, the Clocktown construction dudes, the Wind Waker merchant, and many others. Minish Cap also creatively borrows mechanics from older games like flippers, the power bracelets, and my personal favorite, the hidden skills. But we'll get more into those in just a bit.
So Minish Cap can stand on its own feet while still bringing back the charm that Zelda is known for. But does the gameplay enhance the experience, or unfairly hold it back? The gameplay of Minish Cap is just like most other 2D Zeldas. When the sword is assigned to the A or B button, Link will do a sword swipe that damages enemies that follow its path. This standard weapon can be upgraded by the Blade Masters of Hyrule that teach new skills, like the spin attack, and by the elemental crystals that increase the sword's damage, with the Force Sword being the most powerful weapon in the game. These aspects really take advantage of Link's mobility in this game. For the first time, Link can do a roll on a 2D platform, along with jumping and gliding thanks to the Rock's Cape.
Minish Cap also includes a whole slew of new items to use, such as the Gust Jar that pulls objects towards you, and the Mole Mitts, which allow you to dig through burrows in the ground. As you continue on your adventure, you may stumble upon upgrades to these items, like the Magic Boomerang that can be directed to certain areas, and the Remote Bombs that detonate on command. Character upgrades are here as well. The mainstays of the series, like heart pieces, will increase Link's health when you collect all 4 pieces. Taking on the appearance of a Minish is this game's biggest innovation. Minish Link can climb small vines to reach hidden paths, enter small rooms for items, or inch his way past certain puzzles that normal Link wouldn't be able to do. The best part about the transformation is that it's quick and can be done on a whim. It is so useful and intuitive that it almost becomes second nature. A lot of times, you'll find yourself transforming to explore Link's abilities and confront suspicious objects that can be tackled by a smaller hero. It's kind of like Ant-Man, only just somehow less ridiculous.
Another cool aspect that makes its debut in Minish Cap is the Kinstone Bag. The Kinstone Bag lets Link carry small, broken rocks that can be matched to their other halves through fusion. The process is very simple. You find a Kinstone, either green, blue, red, or gold, green being the most common, and gold being the most rare. You walk up to an NPC, press L, and the Kinstone menu pops up. From here, you pick your Kinstone and match it with an NPC's, and boom, something good is coming your way. It's an awesome concept that really built a relationship between the player and otherwise boring NPCs. The characters matter in this game, which is a total breath of fresh air. With that in mind, I remember why I love Minish Cap so much. For those of you who don't know, one of my favorite parts about Majora's Mask was the fact that it was filled to the brim with side content, and more importantly, NPCs that I actually cared about. This is exactly what Minish Cap is all about, just without the time mechanic. I'd say that the game is split 50-50 with side content and main content. And as far as NPCs go, we already know that the Minish Cap made a great effort at humanizing them. The way I see it, Minish Cap is really a 2D representation of what Majora stood for. A unique villain, unique gameplay, a reference to the series, and a condensed world filled with stuff to do and explore. In short, it's amazing.
But just as the case goes with most games, Minish Cap is not perfect. A few minor setbacks keep it from being as good as it could have been. For one thing, the dungeons are not very original, even with the inclusion of so many original items that, by the way, stay useful throughout the game. Seriously, you use the first item you get in the game to take out one of the final boss's forms. Besides the Palace of the Winds, which looks pretty but is borderline infuriating, Minish Cap also bothers me with its hidden content. The light arrows, to be exact. Let me tell you, the light arrows are way overpowered in Minish Cap. They one-shot almost every enemy in the game, but my biggest gripe is that they can be completely missed. If you don't fuse kinstones with the faraway traveler in Hyrule Town as soon as possible, and reach the cloud tops without doing so, you can't get the light arrows at all. Now, I totally agree that people who go off the traditional path should be rewarded, but I don't think it's fair to make content of a game completely inaccessible, especially if you spent a huge chunk of time completing the game, only to find out that your dreams are completely trashed.
Of course, I wouldn't be doing the game justice if I didn't mention the music, but aside from the main theme of Minish Cap and Cloud Tops, there isn't really too much new to talk about here. Koji Kondo's awesome classics are here and better than ever, and despite the Game Boy's subpar sound quality, you'll have a great time listening to these as you play. It still sounds damn impressive. I mean, these are really good remixes.
The Legend of Zelda, The Minish Cap, is arguably the most underrated Zelda game of all time, and after playing through it, I really can't understand why.
I agree, Minish Cap has really tight controls, a pretty damn good story for a Zelda game, an active world, a fantastic musical score. It just makes it one of the most complete games on the Game Boy Advanced. It appeals to pretty much people of all gaming tastes, especially fans of Majora's Mask.
Puzzle solvers, platform players, and action-adventure fans will all find something to love about this hidden mobile gem. I can't say that Minish Cap is the best technical 2D Zelda game, but it is our favorite and one that I think everyone should give a shot.
Well, there you have it. Our retrospective review of The Legend of Zelda The Minish Cap has come to a closing. But before I go, I want to let you guys know that I recently made adjustments to the thumbnails of video game reviews and video game top 10s on the channel, so you guys might be able to navigate the videos a bit easier. Let me know what you think of the new look, and thank you so much for watching.